first bit of Olympic news that we have is that Great Britain rooms in the Olympic Athletes Village, whatever the hell you call it, is getting aircon, which is kind of crappy because it is really hot and none of the other countries are getting aircon. Not to mention that Great Britain already has the home field advantage, so I mean it's not like UK is going to be like number one on the medal tally simply because they have aircon, but still, I mean, it's quite easily what an international governing system would refer to as a, quote, dick move, unquote. And finally, I want to talk about Leisel Jones. Leisel Jones is easily one of the best Olympians like ever, especially in Australia. I absolutely love her. She is one of the few sporting people that I would say, yeah, you can elevate them to hero status, because I'm not really much of a sporting person. But I absolutely love her. Let's review her awesomeness, shall we? She has gotten a ton of gold medals, either in the Olympics or in the Commonwealth Games. She's just freaking awesome. She has been to 4 Olympics now that she is at the 2012. This is her 4th. She has been considered like the best breaststroker like ever. She has broken world records for 100 and 200 meter breaststroke. She has received World Swimmer of the Year 2005 through to 2006. And yeah, she's just all round freaking awesome. However, that did not stop the vultures that are the media attacking Leisel Jones. And essentially it went like this. They took a bad picture of her, in that they took a picture of her that wasn't terribly flattering. Actually took a couple. Most of the time, if I take any flattering pictures, they'll be like, I'm not posting that. I don't want to hurt my friends. But they're the media, so they're a bunch of assholes. So they took these pictures, and then they put it in the paper, and then people started commenting. They were just the media saying, oh, she doesn't look very good. She's looking a bit out of shape. This was 3 days before the Olympics. Not to mention that she's the flag bearer for the Olympics. She's representing Australia. And you're just being an asshole about it. I don't understand you. I freaking hate the media. The media are a bunch of assholes. They're doing one of two things. They're either ruining someone's career, ruining someone's life. In some cases I understand it. I don't really give a shit about gossip though. I'm not going to be like sitting in front of the TV going, oh my god, Kristen Stewart was cheating on Robert Pattinson with the director. I really don't give a shit half the time. I only care if they're doing something like freaking murdering people. Otherwise I don't really want to hear about it, unless it's like someone like Lights that I actually care about. But seriously, for the most part I'm just like, fuck you. And telling like 3 days before the Olympics, it's like telling your grade 2 daughter that she sucks at acting and she looks like a retard before she goes on the stage. That's just terrible. Next up is a little fashion discussion, which is Spain's outfit, which is, yeah, I don't really have to say anything, just oh my god, why? Poor Spain. So final bit of news, I just wanted to talk about the medal tally. And admittedly, it is early days. There have only been like, I think this is like the second day or first day or second day or blah, 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 of the Olympics. So there aren't really that many that I can talk about. Only 19 countries have actually placed on the board, because there have only been, as I said, a handful of medals pulled out. There have only been a couple of events that they've had finals for. But at this point, the way it works is like this. We've got China, number 1, duh. What surprised me is Italy came in second above America, which is kind of weird, but as I said, early days. Then we have Brazil and South Korea are tied for 4th, and Australia, along with Kazakhstan and Russia, are tied for 6th. All of those countries have a gold medal each, and yeah, going okay. It's kind of funny. I remember I looked at it yesterday and they'd only finished one event. It was like China, And then like second was Poland, and I'm like, yeah, that's the only time they're going to get second. At this point, I believe they're around 10th, because they've only got one silver. But you never know where it's going to end up. Now let's move on to world news. And have you guys heard of Buckyballs? Like these things, it's like a stress ball. It's Lego, except generally stress balls don't keep me entertained enough to avoid doing work in school. No, I do my work. Not really. Anyway, if you haven't played with them, I suggest you go out to the store and buy them quickly, because they might be coming off shelves near you. Because in America, oh my god, America, they are planning to ban these, simply because the Consumer Safety Commission have been suing the company that makes them. Why? Because Americans, no, I'm not gonna just say American, retards who happen to be in America, no, racism, no, that's not racism, discrimination, there, have not been reading. Why, do you ask? Simply this, these are 14 and up. Children 14 and down have been swallowing them. Something else that I've noticed is on the packaging, even though I don't know if it's on the packaging in America, but I know it's over here. And as a result, they are planning to ban it. And I just think this is completely stupid. Why? Because there are so many things that you could ban, according to that. Let's see, we can ban balloons. They are way more dangerous than these little guys. Pretty much the only thing that rivals them is bicycles, which could also be banned. And honestly, I just think it's a bunch of freaking bureaucracy. It's just crap. I mean, if you ban things, if you think about freaking anything, you could be killed by anything. You could be smothered by a pillow. You could be stabbed with a knife or something. I mean, like, it's kind of pointless. So, it's just like, yeah, let's just blunt our knives until we can't use them. At least the kids won't cut themselves on it. I just hate when people try and ban stuff for no good reason. Like, for example, people try and ban hot cross buns, like, oh, it's religious. Just like, okay, well, why can't we eat them? Anyway, let's move on to Dark Knight Rises news, and I'm still going to be playing with these, because I love them, and I don't want them to be banned ever. But anyway, with Dark Knight Rises news, there has been, and this is Dark Knight Rises shooting, sadly, it's not like actually movie news, but there have been some good things that have been coming from this. Firstly, we've had Christian Bale, who kind of shies away from the media, doesn't really like publicity. He has gone from Paris, obviously, because he's had his premiere that kind of flopped because of this tragedy. He has come all the way from Paris, all the way over to Colorado to meet some of the people that have been injured and are in the hospital after this incident. That's a pretty bold move. One, taking like a massive journey, and two, like, meeting the people when you're like that nervous around the media. I think that's a really, really bold move, and I'm really glad that you did that. I mean, good job. And then second bit of news, which is arguably better. It's an improvement. I'm not saying that I don't like Christian Bale, but this is really freaking cool. Many of the hospitals have decided to either waive most of the fees for people who don't have health insurance, or like make it so it's pretty much free. It's just really, really cool. I'm really happy with what they're doing. I mean, geez, that's really helpful for some of the, because there are some people who need $2 million, or like a couple $1 million for this. In fact, I remember seeing a Indiegogo project for this, where they need to raise like $2 million for medical bills. And the good thing is now they don't necessarily need all that money, and hopefully they'll put it back into this as opposed to spending it on themselves, but it's their money. And the final thing that I like is that Warner Brothers has donated money to the cause, and that is freaking cool. They're taking some of the money that has been raised from or the box office money, and they have put it back into the charity. I'm really happy that they've done this. However, some people think that it is a bit of a stupid move because then people will say, oh well, if you're paying for it then that means you feel guilty, you feel like you're responsible, therefore you did it. I don't necessarily think that way, but sadly there are a couple of people who would like to blame them regardless. One such man is Torrance Brown Jr. After his friend was killed in this incident when he was shot in the chest, he decided to start pointing the finger at a bunch of people. For starters, he has decided that he is going to blame the cinema. The cinema he has chosen to blame because, according to him, the person may have propped open the emergency exit, then gone to his car and then entered through the open emergency exit. And according to him, if it was alarmed or if there was some kind of system where they were just like, hey, the emergency exit's open, then this tragedy could have been averted. The second party that had been put in the spotlight has been Holmes' doctor. According to Brown Jr., it could have been like medication issues and it could have caused this kind of mental breakdown, and this is what caused the shooting. I don't know, maybe. And the third party is Warner Brothers, despite the fact that they're donating money. And according to Brown, it's because the movie is too violent, and that's what caused him to want to kill people, and also some people allegedly might have gone, hey, is this part of the movie? And as a result they wouldn't have like run away or something. Let's start with one thing. I hate the idea of people suing others. I pray that I never sue anyone. The reason is I don't see any logic in just like demanding money, because especially when it's something that, like, I understand if somebody like hurts you or somebody like, I don't know, does something unsavory and then you know them and then you sue them. I sort of understand that. I don't understand suing like a big company that you've never even met. It's just seems like a bit of a dick move to me. I don't know. But in a more fair kind of way, I'm going to kind of assess what I think about these lawsuits. Honestly, I think most of them are bullshit. The only one that I sort of understand is the cinema. I understand the idea that perhaps the door should have been alarmed, and then this could have kind of not ruined this circumstance, but I still think that's a dick move. I mean, come on. That reputation has been already ruined, and you're going to just demand money off them anyway. I don't see the point in that. In terms of the doctor thing, I'm just like, really? You don't know what the hell's going on. Why would you just like make that assumption? And the third thing, you're blaming Warner Brothers? Really? That's just stupid. I think that's, I mean, you could say, oh, he might have been playing GTA. Let's sue like Rockstar or something. Or maybe he was watching, I don't know, like Final Destination. Let's sue. That would be Warner Brothers again, wouldn't it? That didn't sound as intelligent as I would have liked. But anyway, I think that's just dumb. I don't understand why you would sue the company that made the movie. And I understand that it's kind of weird because Hollywood is completely like made a massive reaction to this. Like, they have delayed some violent movies. They've changed around like advertising for other ones because of this incident. I mean, they just don't want people to get pissed at them. It's just weird. Just like, okay. Finally, we're going to talk Dark Knight Rises gun control news. And yes, I realized that my lighting changed. Deal with it. Personally, I hate guns, and I'm kind of pro gun control. But firstly, I want to kind of talk about how Dark Knight Rises kind of factors into this. Okay, so the reason that this has been in the media and the whole gun control is happening is because this has been the worst shooting massacre in a while. It's affected so many people, whether it's been people that have died or there has been people that have been injured and hospitalized as a result of this massacre. So essentially the main problem is the fact that he had all this equipment. He had a riot helmet, he had bulletproof vest, he had a gas mask, he had a shotgun, 2 handguns, and most of all, an assault rifle. Why would you give someone an assault rifle? You can't say, unless there's like some kind of a zombie apocalypse, there's no reason to have an assault rifle. Just why? And also, he had tons of ammunition. Tons of ammunition. He had 300 shotgun shells. He had 3,000 rounds for his handguns. He had 3,000 rounds for his assault rifle. There has to be some kind of system where an alarm goes off if you got that many bullets. That's nuts. There's no way you should be allowed to have that many bullets. And ultimately, there have been tons of questions about gun control. And I just want to kind of give my opinion, and it's going to be lengthy as hell. Oh well, I'll try not to make it too lengthy. But here is my honest opinion. My first off opinion is, I don't think that there should be guns. Like, I mean, well, I guess they're already in existence, so we kind of have to deal with it. But unless you're in a situation like, I don't know, like military, and admittedly, I also don't support kind of military kind of stuff, because I'm kind of one of those make peace, not war, man, kind of people. Not that I don't appreciate the work that soldiers do day in and day out, but I seriously don't see the point in it, because the main reason that you need a gun is either to protect yourself, or if you're a criminal, to like kill others. And the way I see it, you shouldn't need a gun to protect yourself unless someone's pointing a gun at you. And I seriously don't see the point of it. I understand there are other ideas, like for example, if everybody owned a gun, then no one would shoot anyone, because then they'd have like 6 people aiming at them. And also, if you can think about it, if everybody in the theatre had a gun, then it wouldn't have been an issue. But I still can't see the viewpoint of having a deadly weapon is a good thing. And I guess in some ways it can be more about the person. Like if you don't have a gun, you'll use a knife or something else. But the way I see it is, I live in Australia, and in Australia I have seen guns maybe twice in my life, both for like the security people, for the bank money transfers, and in no other cases have I seen guns other than like TV shows and stuff, but that obviously doesn't count. And I just really question why we need it. And also I hate when people say, oh, it's the Second Amendment. I think that's a pretty dick argument.